The first time I saw her, she was kneeling at the edge of a dying world. Not metaphorically. Literally. The planet Velis, 9 had already begun to fracture beneath its own failing core. Rivers of molten crystal split the surface into glowing fault lines. The sky above was a violent tapestry of emerald lightning and collapsing atmosphere. My mission had been simple: extract surviving scientists and retreat before the planetary implosion. Instead, I found her. She was standing alone at the edge of a cliff overlooking a collapsing city of spires made of translucent mineral glass. Her species, the Illyrians, had once been known as architects of living cities. Now, their towers crumbled into luminous dust. She didn't turn when my boots scraped against fractured stone. "Evacuation transport is ready," I said through the translator embedded in my collar. "You need to move." She laughed. It wasn't hysterical. It was tired. "You are human," she said softly. Her voice sounded like wind passing through hollow crystal. "You are not of us. Why are you still here?" "Because you're still here." Her silver hair floated slightly in the thin air, glowing faintly in the electromagnetic storms above. Illyrians were bioluminescent. Light bled through their veins when emotions ran high. Right now, she glowed a dim, fading blue. "Everyone else has chosen preservation," she whispered. "I choose release." It took me a second. Then I understood. "You're not waiting for rescue," I said.
"No."
She turned then, and I saw her eyes, fractured gold, like sunlight caught in broken mirrors. "I am waiting for the end. The weight of survival." Her name was Saren, daughter of Velis 9's High Architect, the last heir to a civilization that had once shaped asteroids into gardens. And she had asked the evacuation command to remove her name from the manifest. "I will not carry the ruins of my world into exile," she told me. I stood there, trying to reconcile the calm in her voice with the chaos around us. Debris rained from the sky in glittering arcs. Shockwaves rippled through the ground every few minutes. "You think dying with a planet honors it?" I asked. "It preserves its memory," she replied. "Unchanged. Untainted by survival." "That's not memory," I said. "That's extinction." Her light dimmed further. "You humans," she said. "You cling to broken things." "Yes," I answered. "We do." A nearby tower collapsed with a deafening crack, spraying crystal shards into the air like deadly snow. She didn't flinch. "Go," she said quietly. "Your kind values life. Preserve your own. My shuttle doesn't leave without you." She frowned slightly. "You would defy orders?" "Yes." "Why?" I hesitated. Because I had seen this before. Not alien empires collapsing, but the look in her eyes. The quiet surrender. The exhaustion that made death seem like mercy. "My planet almost destroyed itself once," I said.
"War."
"Climate collapse. Nuclear brinkmanship. There were days humanity thought it would be easier to end than to endure. But you endured." "Barely," I admitted. "And not gracefully."
She studied me.
"Why?" she asked. "Because someone always chose to stay," I said. "Even when staying hurt." Middle. The promise of a single dawn. Another tremor split the ground between us. She stumbled. I reached out instinctively, grabbing her arm. Her skin was warm, not like flesh, but like sun-heated glass. For a moment, our species touched across extinction. "You feel it too, don't you?" she whispered. "The fear?"
"No."
The silence. After. I did feel it. The way the city no longer sang. Illyrian cities were semi-organic. They hummed with harmonic frequencies generated by their inhabitants. Now there was only static. "I can't let it all vanish," she said. If I leave, I betray them. If I live, I am proof we failed. I tightened my grip slightly. If you die, I said carefully, then they failed completely. Her glow flickered. That is not how we measure honor. Maybe your measurement system needs an update. She blinked at me. That was humor. An attempt. A faint shimmer pulsed across her skin, something close to curiosity. Explain, she said. You think living means accepting defeat, I said. But living means carrying what was good forward. That's not betrayal. That's resistance. Resistance to what? To oblivion. A massive fissure tore through the cliff edge behind her, sending half the platform crashing into the abyss. She finally looked afraid. Not of death, but of falling before she chose it.
T.
The communicator on my wrist beeped sharply. Extraction team to Commander Hale, crackled the voice of my pilot. Planetary core collapse accelerating. We have 4 minutes. I looked at Saren. 4 minutes, I said. Enough time. No, I said firmly. Enough time to decide. She stared at the city one last time. Everything we built, she whispered. Gone. Not everything, I said.
She turned back to me.
You are not Illyrian. No. You do not understand what this world was. Then tell me, I said. She hesitated. Tell me what it was, I repeated. Not what it is. What it was. And something shifted. Instead of describing the destruction, she spoke of light festivals that turned the sky violet, of floating gardens grown in asteroid rings, of children who sculpted living bridges with harmonic song. As she spoke, her bioluminescence brightened slightly. You still carry it, I said softly. Carry what? Velis 9. The ground split again, closer this time. Saren, I said urgently. If you die here, the universe loses that story. She looked at me as if seeing me for the first time. You believe stories matter. They're the only things that outlive stars. The communicator beeped again. 2 minutes. Her light surged uncertain, chaotic. I asked for death, she said quietly. I know. I asked because I could not bear to be the last. You won't be, I said. How can you promise that? Because I won't let you face exile alone. Her eyes widened slightly. You would bind your path to mine? Yes. For what purpose? For hope. She flinched at the word, as if it were fragile. Hope is inefficient, she said. Yeah, I smiled faintly. But it's contagious. The leap. A final quake split the cliff completely. We were out of time. I pulled her toward the ridge, where my dropship hovered against violent winds. I cannot outrun a dying planet, she said. You don't have to, I replied. Just jump. The gap between us and stable ground widened by the second. She hesitated. Saren, I shouted over the roar of collapsing stone. You asked for death because you thought there was nothing left. But there is.
What?
You. The word hit harder than the tremor beneath us. You are Velis 9 now, I said. Not its ruins. Its memory. Its possibility. For a heartbeat, everything seemed suspended. Then she grabbed my hand. And we jumped. The cliff behind us shattered into incandescent debris as we hit the dropship ramp and tumbled inside. The hatch sealed just as the shockwave swallowed the sky. From orbit, we watched Velis 9 collapse into a radiant implosion, a star born from a grave. She stood beside me in silence. Her light flickered, not fading this time, shifting, ending, a garden in the void. Weeks passed aboard the refugee vessel Horizon Reach. Illyrian survivors drifted in quiet clusters, their bioluminescence muted in grief. They had lost their planet, their architecture, their harmonic cities. But they had not lost her. Saren had not spoken publicly since the evacuation, until the day she summoned them all. I stood at the back of the assembly chamber, unsure if she wanted me there.
She did.
You stayed, she said quietly as I approached. I said I would. You tethered your hope to mine. I figured it was a fair trade. A faint shimmer of amusement passed through her. Then she stepped forward before her people. For a long moment, she said nothing. The chamber hummed faintly, not the full song of Velis 9, but something trying to be. I asked for death, she began. The Illyrian stirred. I believed survival was surrender. Her glow deepened. I was wrong. A ripple of brighter light passed through the chamber. Our world is gone, she continued, but our light remains. We are not its ruins. We are its continuation. She paused. And we are not alone. Her eyes found mine. The human who defied orders to stand beside me taught me something foreign to our kind. She inhaled. Hope is not denial of loss. It is defiance of it. The chamber brightened. For those who wish it, she said, we will build again. Not as Velis 9 was, but as something new. A young Illyrian stepped forward hesitantly. Where? They asked. Saren looked at me briefly. Anywhere we are brave enough to begin. A seed among stars. Months later, we stood on the surface of an unclaimed moon orbiting a quiet blue star. The soil was barren. The sky empty. Perfect. Saren knelt, pressing her glowing palms into the dust. Harmonic vibrations pulsed outward, subtle but real. Will it grow? I asked. Yes, she said. Slowly. A small crystalline sprout pushed through the soil, fragile, luminous. It won't be Velis 9, I said. No, she agreed. It will not. She looked up at me. It will be better. Better? We will build it with memory, she said. And with hope. I smiled. Dangerous combination. Contagious, you said. I laughed softly. Her light now was no longer the dim blue of surrender. It was radiant gold. You know, she said thoughtfully, when I stood at the edge of my world, I truly believed death was mercy. And now, she looked at the growing crystalline sapling. Now I understand something your species has known for centuries. What's that? That mercy can look like persistence. A breeze moved across the barren moon, carrying faint harmonic notes from the newly planted seed. Life. Not restored. Not replaced. But reborn. She had asked for death. The human gave her hope instead. And hope, stubborn and inefficient, reshaped the stars. Years passed. Not quickly. Not easily. Time, Saren learned, did not heal in clean lines. It fractured, doubled back, lingered in unexpected places. Some days, the loss of Velis 9 felt distant, like a fading echo across space. Other days, it returned with suffocating clarity, as if the planet had only just died again. But something else grew alongside that grief. Something stubborn. Something human. The first city. The moon they had chosen was eventually named Elara's Dawn. At first, it was nothing more than scattered settlements, fragile crystalline structures that hummed weakly under alien winds. The Illyrians struggled. Their architecture had always depended on the harmonic resonance of a living planet. This world was silent.
Dead.
Unresponsive. It does not sing back, one of the elders said during an early council gathering. We are building into a void. Saren stood at the center of the chamber, her glow steady but dimmer than usual. Then we will teach it, she replied. And they did. Slowly, painstakingly, they adapted. Instead of relying on planetary resonance, They began weaving their own harmonics into the structures, layer by layer, voice by voice. What once came effortlessly now required intention, effort, collaboration. The first tower they completed did not rise gracefully like those of Velis. 9. It grew unevenly, its light flickering inconsistently. But it stood, and when the wind passed through it, it made a sound. Not the perfect symphony of their lost world, but a beginning. The human who stayed. I stayed longer than I ever planned. At first, it was necessity. The early colony needed support, engineering, atmospheric stabilization, supply coordination. But even after systems stabilized, I didn't leave. Sarah never asked me to stay. She didn't have to. "You're still here," she said one evening as we stood overlooking the growing settlement. "Yeah," I replied. "Guess I am." "You have your own world," she said. "So do you." She turned slightly, her golden light reflecting off the half-formed structures below. "This is not yet a world," she said. "It is," I answered. "It just doesn't know it yet." She was quiet for a moment. "Humans are strange," she said finally. "That's been confirmed. You attach meaning before it exists. We call that optimism." She tilted her head. "We would have called it illusion. And now..." She looked out over Ellora's dawn. "Now," she said softly, "I believe it is creation. The weight of memory. Not all Illyrians adapted. Some could not reconcile what they had lost with what they were building. A few chose isolation, retreating into quiet enclaves where their light dimmed to near extinction. Others left entirely, joining distant colonies where Velis, 9 was spoken of only in past tense. Saren carried them all. Every loss, every absence, every silence. One night, I found her standing alone beyond the settlement, staring at the stars. "You're doing it again," I said gently. "Doing what?" "Carrying everything by yourself." She didn't deny it. "They look to me," she said. "For direction. For strength." "They don't need perfection," I replied. "They need honesty." Her glow flickered. "I am afraid," she admitted. "Of what?" "That this will never be enough," she said. "That no matter what we build, it will always be a shadow." I stepped beside her, looking at the same sky. "Yeah," I said. "It will be." She turned, surprised. "That is not comforting." "It's not supposed to be," I said. "You don't replace something like Velis 9. You don't recreate it." "Then what are we doing?" I smiled faintly. "Something harder." "What?" "Moving forward without it. The turning point. The real change came unexpectedly. A child. Born on Ellora's dawn. The first Illyrian who had never seen Velis 9. The entire colony gathered when the child's bioluminescence first activated. It was different, softer, more fluid in color. Not the structured harmonics of their old world, but something freer, unpredictable, alive. Saren held the child carefully, as if afraid it might shatter. "She does not carry the old resonance," one elder observed. "No," Saren said quietly. "She carries something new." The child reached out instinctively, tiny glowing fingers brushing against Saren's hand. And for the first time, since I had met her, Saren cried. Not in silence, not in restraint, but openly. Her light surged into brilliant gold, filling the chamber with warmth. "She is not a remnant," Saren whispered. "She is a beginning." Understanding hope. Later, we stood again at the edge of the settlement, though now it was no longer barren. Crystalline growth spread across the surface in intricate patterns. Towers hummed softly. The air itself seemed to carry faint music. "You were right," she said. "Careful," I replied. "I'm going to need you to be more specific." She almost smiled. Hope is not inefficient, she said. It is transformative. Took you long enough. She glanced at me. I resisted it. I know. I feared it would diminish what we lost. And now. She looked out over Elara's dawn. The lights, the movement, the quiet life taking root. Now I understand, she said. Hope does not erase loss.
She paused.
It gives it purpose.
The choice to stay.
A transmission came months later. Earth command. My recall order. Long overdue. You will go, Saren said when I told her. Yeah, I said. Looks like it. You have done enough here. I shook my head. Not really how that works.
She studied me.
You do not belong to this world, she said. Neither did you, I replied. At first, that is different. Is it? Silence stretched between us. Do you want to leave? She asked. I looked out over the city, their city now. The towers. The light. The sound of something new being born. Then I looked at her. No, I said simply. Her glow softened. Then stay, she said. A new legacy. Years turned into decades. Elara's dawn became more than a colony. It became a civilization. Ships began to leave its orbit, not as refugees, but as explorers. They carried with them not just Illyrian memory, but human influence, adaptability, resilience, the willingness to build imperfect things and believe they mattered anyway. And at the center of it all stood Saren, no longer the girl who waited for death, but the leader who chose life, again and again, even when it hurt. Final scene, the same edge, a different choice. Much later, we stood together on a high ridge overlooking the fully realized city. It reminded me, just slightly, of the cliff where I had first found her. You brought me back from the edge, she said quietly. No, I replied. You stepped back. Because you offered your hand. Yeah, I admitted. That part's true. She looked at the horizon, where twin suns dipped below crystalline spires. I asked for death, she said. I remember. And you gave me hope. I offered it. I corrected. You accepted it. She turned to me, her golden light steady, powerful. Then let me say this clearly, she said. For the record. I raised an eyebrow. Go on. She smiled fully this time. Hope was the better choice. I laughed softly. Told you. Below us, the city sang not perfectly, not like Velis 9, but something richer. Layered. Evolving.
Alive.
And as the stars emerged above a world that should never have existed, Saren, once ready to die, stood as proof of something greater than survival. She stood as proof that even at the end of everything, hope can begin again.